Then it brings me back to something you mentioned earlier that I was like, oh, yeah, if we could explore that a little bit. And you said, so if we know we're awareness, we know we're source, then why the suffering?
Why? Why all the suffering? Okay, well, I kind of gave it away with the other why. There is no why.
Mm-hmm.
There is no why.
Mm-hmm.
When you find it's like how to say, it's like when you don't get the joke, it's not funny. But when you finally get the joke, it's hilarious. Suffering is not funny. It's not something to be made light of. It's not something to just shrug off and say, "Oh, you're only suffering because of your mind, dummy. Why don't you just fix your mind?" It's not something to be laughed at. It's not something to be just insensitive about. Right? Compassion is a thing. Yet when you get the joke, for you, and not in a way that's cold, when you get the joke, but you get basically that you are creating the suffering, and and you didn't see it, you just didn't see it, and it's not your fault. But when you realize that, then the joke becomes very funny. It's like, wow, like it's been me, and you just like, you shrug your shoulders and you take a deep exhale. Well, I'm never doing that again. but realizing that one is different from any other realization, because you're realizing the realizer doesn't exist. You're realizing that the me that has been suffering, it's not that I fix life in such a way that pain doesn't express itself within my life. It means that pain is seen for what it is, pleasure is seen for what it is, an appearance and disappearance in an ever-changing sort of dynamic functioning of a consciousness, which I, the knower of consciousness itself, am beyond.
Yeah.
But remember, nothing changes when you realize the truth, except for you've realized the truth. The function, the carrying out of responsibilities and things will still
Mm-hmm.
come through this expression. You will still be auntie to your nieces and nephews. You will still be mom to your children, but you are none of these things. You know that all existence is yourself. And there's no doubt. There's no doubt. Changes. It's just that it's like they asked the sage, they said, what was it like the day after you awakened? They asked him. And he said, the day after, I tried my best to go back to my old way of being. And you know what I noticed? I have always been this. Nothing changes. Nothing changes. You just awaken. When you
Mm-hmm.
when you wake up from a dream. Now this is important. When you're dreaming, tiger scratch you on the arm in the dream. When you wake up from the dream, you don't have to heal from that wound, because it's not there anymore. When you wake up from the dream, nothing in the dream is there anymore, including the self that you thought you were. You had a body in the dream, is not your body, but you had a body in the dream that you thought was your own. Everything in the dream, including the self you think you are in the dream, is no longer here. The same when you wake up in your waking state, when you wake up to self-realization. When you wake up, nothing that was in the dream, including the me that I thought was me in the dream, remains.